So, Dad, I was asking you about Lalibela and your trip there.
Yes.
So, what, just a simple memory that you have of visiting the churches in the rock?
Well, in the 12th century, King Lalibela, who was a Zagwe king, which means he was an Amharic king in Ethiopia, decided that the Muslims have taken over all the holy places in Israel, and so he would build a new Jerusalem
Really?
in Ethiopia for pilgrims to come and worship.
Mm-hmm.
But unlike the city churches and so forth in Israel, which were all constructed, many of them out of huge blocks of rock, he had a mountain top literally leveled, made smooth, and had 7 churches manufactured by carving the mountain away.
Right.
So they are rock-hewn churches. They are not constructed.
So they started digging the outside and
And
then
in
went in.
1978, UNESCO declared that Lalibela was the 8th wonder of the world.
Cool.
So it is on the UN's list of precious sites. And
You were trying to think about why you went?
yeah, I wanted to see it.
Yeah, of course. And you went with
I went with the deputy information officer at Cagnew Station,
Army guy.
who was my boss,
Right. Cool. So you and he drove down?
with 4 other guys.
Okay, so you had to
6
carry all your own gasoline and everything.
6 of us went. No, actually, in Oxum we could get gas.
That's where
again.
the obelisks are?
Yes. And at Deborah Marcos, which was on closer, we could get gas again. So that was enough to take us to Lalibela.
Oh, excellent.
And it worked the same way coming back. Anyway,
So what, 6 of you went?
6 of us went.
Did you drive Army Jeeps?
Brian Latta,
Oh, excellent. So you
is
do
the
remember his name.
captain's name. Brian Latta.
So Army captain.
Army Captain Brian Latta, who was the deputy information officer at Cagnew Station
So it was between...
in 1971 to 73.
Okay, so sometime in that time frame is when you went.
Yeah.
Do you remember if it was spring or summer?
I don't. Anyway, when we got there, the first church that you encounter is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, which, if you come on a helicopter or an airplane, is in the form of, carved out in the form of a cross,
Right. Equal sides.
all equal sides, and inside, the entire place is carved out with rooms and altars and everything, but all of it is carved out of the rock.
Right.
The engineering of that thing is an engineering miracle.
No doubt.
People have visited there and can't believe how they did that
Right.
with such precision.
Well, we tend to think of ancient man as less smart than us, but they really weren't stupid.
Whoever he had doing the engineering on that thing was brilliant
Very brilliant.
in the 11th century.
So you arrive at that first church.
First church, which is the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. And you go from there and visit all of the other 7 churches. You walk all the way around the pit. In other words, there's open walk space around the whole complex.
Did you say you spoke with one of the priests?
Yes, I did.
So did you
He was
speak
a
Amharic to him, or he spoke some
No.
English? Oh,
He spoke English.
excellent.
And I was amazed at how good his English was.
So he had a chance to practice with
And
you.
he was born in Oxum, which is where another Ethiopian treasure is, the stone obelisks, one of which is 110 feet high. And to this day, nobody can tell us for sure how they erected that thing, because they know it was dug 14 miles away.
And it was one solid piece?
And one solid piece. They
Wow.
know that they rolled it on logs to get it over there. That's not the miracle. The miracle is how did they get it to stand up?
Yeah, because the trees were not that tall to make pikes out of.
Right.
Yeah.
And not only that, to have an obelisk that tall, why it didn't break standing it up
Oh, right.
is also a miraculous thing.
Yeah. So what
Anyway,
did you
back
and the
to-
priest talk about?
Back to Lalibela. Well, there's a whole cadre of priests that serve in Lalibela. There's the high priest that is over the city. And many, many people from all over the world come there to pray. King Lalibela died and was buried in the city of Lalibela.
Interesting.
And his tombstone, you can see this tombstone in his burial site there.
Interesting.
Anyway, we got to walk around, spent the whole day there, ended up getting back to Deborah Marcos, which is where we stayed the night, after dark, because we wanted to spend as much time as we
Sure. That was an amazing day.
could. It was an amazing day. And
So you didn't have to climb up by a rope.
no, that was Deborah Marcos.
So how did you climb out once you were in?
No, you didn't. There was a trench dug down to the
Oh, I gotcha.
bottom level.
Okay.
So you walk, actually the stone steps, and then a ramp down into the city. It was about half a mile from where you parked your cars and so forth. And then you walk down some stairs, and then the ramp down into the trench
Gotcha.
around the city. And then you walked around in the city,
Very-
and in and out of the churches.
Very few people have had that opportunity to go. You 6 guys. Did you do something else while you were there or on your trip back and forth or anything?
We had lunch with 2 of the priests. We had brought our lunch with us, and we shared our lunch with the 2 priests.
Excellent.
The guy I talked with, and another guy who didn't speak much English. but was
Interesting.
just a friend of
So
his.
these were Coptic priests.
Coptic Christian priests.
So Orthodox.
Orthodox.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing the story.
You're welcome.